again, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the MonkeyBoy Presents the DC Comics Superhero Collection by Eaglemoss. And today we have issue number 19, Nightwing. And this is yet again another one of my favorite characters from the comic books. Love Dick Grayson, love the evolution of his character from the original Robin into Nightwing. This issue will actually cover that very briefly. It pretty much assumes that anyone who knows who Dick Grayson is knows that he was Robin. They know Robin's origin, that he was in the trapeze, his parents were murdered. Bruce Wayne was in the audience and adopted him as his new ward and trained him to be his sidekick as Robin. And this kind of picks up after they split. Anyway, we'll cover that, of course, first in the magazine portion of the review, which will give you everything you need to know about Nightwing. And then we'll cover the figure itself, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, issue number 19 of the DC Comics Superhero Collection, Nightwing. First up, we have the character section. And this section starts off by giving us a very, very brief glimpse into his past, his origins. Most anyone who knows the character of Robin knows where Dick Grayson comes from. He was part of a trapeze act with a circus, came to Gotham City, and they were being blackmailed by a local mobster. They wouldn't pay up, so the mobster rigged the lines so Dick Grayson's parents would fall to their death. Bruce Wayne just happened to be in the audience and adopted the boy as his ward, and eventually he became his sidekick, Robin. While serving as the Boy Wonder to Batman, he also helped to co-found the Teen Titans. It also talks about the moment that Dick and Bruce split and stopped being Batman and Robin after Dick disobeyed an order from Bruce in the field that caused an innocent bystander to get killed and for Robin to be severely injured. Even after the falling out with Batman, he continued to fight crime as Robin. He reformed the Teen Titans, and now calling themselves the New Teen Titans. And shortly after forming this new team, he dropped the Robin moniker altogether and adopted his new name, Nightwing. Unfortunately, things between Starfire and Nightwing wouldn't last. Their wedding was broken up, and Starfire actually left Earth to return to her home world to help her people. Also, around the same time, Robin had finally tracked down the murderer of his parents, this boss Zuko, and just as he was about to apprehend him, he watched as Zuko was gunned down by rival mobsters. After all of this, Nightwing took a little bit of a harder edge. He changed his costume to kind of reflect that. He became a little bit darker, a little bit moodier. This is also around the same time that Bane had crippled Batman, and Batman had handed over the mantle to a character known as Azrael. And Azrael sort of went nuts. After the Azrael incident, Nightwing and Batman reconciled. Batman confessed how proud he was of Dick for becoming his own hero, his own man, and he also asked Nightwing if he would move to the neighboring town of Bloodhaven. The last couple pages deal with the fact that while he was working in Bloodhaven, he did grow closer to Barbara Gordon, the one-time Batgirl who is now known as Oracle, and he actually proposed to her at one point as well. After Barbara refused to marry him, the two stayed friends. They stayed very close. They still worked together. But Nightwing went on to lead a new group of heroes that called themselves the Outsiders. Unfortunately, his best friend and former Teen Titan, Donna Troy, was killed in the line of duty serving with the Outsiders. We also learn about the resurrection of Jason Todd and how he was, for a little while, impersonating Nightwing. Next, we take a look at some of Nightwing's classic storylines. First, we have Nightwing, The Ties That Bind. And this story basically explored Dick's origins. It explored his relationship with Batman and how he evolved from becoming a sidekick to his own standalone hero. It's a really great story. It gives him a new costume, a new purpose to patrol Bloodhaven, and it reunites he and Batman, because for years in the comics they've been fighting with one another about their styles of crime fighting. In this one, they're finally reunited, they reconcile, and they're stronger than ever. Next, we have Nightwing, The Hunt for Oracle. And this story is really cool because it explores Nightwing's character, and it shows how loyal he is to his friends and his family. His nemesis in Bloodhaven, Blockbuster, is back, and he's kidnapped Oracle, who Dick was currently very involved with at the time. It's really cool because it also crosses over with the Birds of Prey comic book and those characters, so we don't just get stuck with Nightwing and Oracle, we get, some of the Birds of Prey characters like Black Canary. Finally, we have Nightwing Year 1. And this Year 1 story is just that. It talks about the first year of Nightwing. It shows Dick dropping the Robin moniker, falling out with Batman, and adopting this new character, this new persona. It explores that origin in detail. He meets Jason Todd, he meets Commissioner Gordon for the first time, and the artwork by McDaniel and Owens is very stylized, and it's sort of reminiscent of the old animated series. It's really great. Next, we look at some of Nightwing's allies and enemies, and on the first page there, we have the rest of the Bat family. And the next page features mostly his fellow Teen Titans. This issue's iconography section focuses on the city of Bloodhaven. We learn about some of the supervillains in Bloodhaven, like the evil Blockbuster and the living nuclear bomb Chemo. It also introduces us to Bloodhaven's own superhero team known as Shade. And it also just gives some really cool pictures of the city itself, including a great map of the Commonwealth of Bloodhaven. And lastly, the original thinking section continues the DC timeline with Part 10, World of Water. And this section just basically talks all about Atlantis. We meet the king of Atlantis at the time, King Orin. It talks about how he had some of the greatest soothsayers and fortune tellers in the kingdom write the Chronicles of Atlantis, which was basically the history of the city, but they also foretold of this oncoming doom that would sink them beneath the waves with this asteroid that was heading for Earth. We also meet King Orin's scheming brother, Prince Shalako, who convinced some of the people of Atlantis to leave with him, but in the process cursed them to become merpeople. Alright, here we have Nightwing, Dick Grayson, the original Robin. I'm a big fan of this character. I'm a big fan of when the comic books actually evolve the characters and let them grow as individuals and don't try to keep them stuck as the same old, same old. So I'm a big fan of the original Robin growing up and becoming his own hero, kind of independent of Batman in a sense. He's still part of the family, he's still funded, but he's off doing his own thing. As for the figure itself, it's a great interpretation. Love the hair, love the mask. His mask is just wicked as Nightwing. I love how it comes down on his cheeks like that. I'm so happy they gave him the tonfas. I thought that was a really nice touch, especially since that's his weapon of choice now. And I love the blue on the suit. It's a really deep, deep blue. Almost black, really, when you look at it in the right light. His hair is nicely detailed. I love his face. It's this stern sort of face. There are ridges to denote where the gloves are on his arms, and his boots are really cool because they're this glossy black, so they really stand out. Overall, it's a nice figure. I'm not going to say it's great. It's nice. I like it because it's Batman and it's Nightwing and all that good stuff. But as a figure, it's kind of just okay. I'll go into more detail here and talk about it with some better pictures. Nightwing stands atop the DC logo, and the underside of the base has his name in a couple languages along with a serial number. And so you can see, I have a picture of him alongside the dynamic duo. And another quick shot with the love of his life, Starfire. So I really like the figure overall, I really do. It's not fantastic, it's not Scarecrow level, it's not even really Batman or Robin level, because he is a pretty basic figure. No utility belts, no capes, no nothing like that. There were a couple of missed opportunities, I feel, with the figure. The mask, I think, should have been more than just painted on. I think they could have actually molded a mask onto his face, since most of the time, when you see the drawings of Nightwing, his mask has some thickness to it. You know, it looks like it's this rubber appliance or something. Also, the costume itself is nice, and I love the blue. Love they went with the blue, not that awful red that he currently wears in the comic book. And I like that the blue goes all the way down the back of the arms and onto the middle fingers. But the texture of the costume, I think, was a missed opportunity. They could have made it look armored somehow. They could have put a mesh sort of texture to it to kind of make it look like body armor. So just kind of a missed opportunity instead of just doing that sort of flat, simple spandex looking costume. But again, nothing too major to complain about. The good, the pose, the haircut, the mask that's there is really nice. The eyes are even, it's done correctly. I love the peak in the middle of the forehead. It's really cool. Love the blue, that deep, deep blue, the fact that he's holding the tonfas, and I do like the fact that the boots are a different texture from the rest of the costume, so at least there's that. The bad, as I said, just a couple of missed opportunities, nothing really bad. You know, the costume's just sort of simple, nothing really fantastic, it's perfect. I like the blue and black. Again, it's the right costume to go with, but I just feel there could have been more texture to it. The ugly. The tonfas can be very fragile, so taking him in and out of the blister, you want to be careful because they can break. Other than that, he's a pretty solid figure. And overall, I really do like him. Don't get me wrong. He looks great. He is fantastic. He's just sort of simple. But, you know, that's okay. I wasn't asking for anything crazy. I mean, he is a simple character by design as well. But really happy to have Dick Grayson finally. Glad they went with the Nightwing version, not the classic Robin version. Very happy with this figure, and I hope you all have been very happy with this review. Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for a quick teaser of the next issue. We're into issue 20 already. We're in the 20s. That's awesome. A character that is interesting. Not one of my favorites for a change. How about that? But it should be fun exploring this character. One of the lesser-known characters, really, too. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I am your host, the Monkey Boy. Thank you very much for watching.
We'll be right back.